What's good? What's good? It's Black Seminole Khmet, the West Coast Anunnaki, and my brother Ampu. We both students, the main students of Kepra Patah, Kemetic Spiritual Cultivation System. Meet like every other Sunday in Seattle at 6:30. We're going to talk about some double K shit. We're going to talk about Kyrie and Koonye. All right, I'm going to start off with about Koonye. So first of all, this nigga said slavery was a choice. I don't know, was that like a year ago? He didn't say mental slavery was a choice. He didn't say economic slavery is a choice. Because mental slavery is definitely a choice. Economic slavery, not so much. He said slavery. So he's talking about actually being in shackles and being on the Middle Passage from Africa to America. That's not a choice. Then the White Lives Matter shirts. See, niggas hella smart, so he can like explain his way out of shit if you're gonna believe in him. Cause like the hardcore Kanye supporters are like hardcore like Trump supporters. They're gonna be on Kanye's nuts no matter what he does. So the first thing he said when he made those White Lives Matter, I mean, most white people don't even wear White Lives Matter shirts, and most racist white people don't even wear White Lives Matter shirts. So what he said, the first thing he said after he made those shirts, I seen his quote. He said, "Where was y'all at when I couldn't see my kids?" He's talking about getting his kids from Kim, baby blood on her face, to make the lines go away, Kardashian, and Pete, bisexual, Davidson. So you're going to blame it on all the black people because you can't get your kids, you can't get custody of your kids from two white people? That shit don't make no sense. And I think he got like partial custody anyway. So that shirt is what it looks like it means. It means fuck all black people on earth ever born. But then he can go and say all this kind of stuff and explain it away and talk niggas into other shit. But that's the very first reaction. That's the first reason he said he made the shirt. Where was y'all at when I couldn't see my kids? It means fuck black people. And then, so I thought he actually said something anti-Semitic. But I think he said the Jews own 9% of entertainment industry, and they do. So that's anti-Semitic?
Yeah, he wasn't lying about that. That was not anti-Semitic. I don't know why anything anti-Semitic, and you're speaking the truth, the facts. The only thing he was talking about was Atron Ultra or something like that. And I guess that goes to sort of some kind of violent act to go against the Jews or something he was mentioning. But
what violent act?
I don't think he knew what he was talking about.
You don't know what he's talking about.
Atron Ultra.
You don't know what he's talking about like half the time. He's an MLK puppet and shit. Sometimes he wakes up like when he was like supporting Trump, and all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, they're using me." Like, yeah, nigga, they're using you. You're a puppet. They've been using you the whole time. He wakes up and says shit he ain't supposed to say. Like I seen we went live at a concert and just stopped his concert. Like Jay-Z, don't send the killers after me. He wasn't supposed to say that shit either. But then saying that Jews control 9% of Hollywood, that's not anti-Semitic at all because they do. These motherfuckers are so they're out of control, guys. That's supposed to be a secret that they control 9% of Hollywood. So that brings us to Kyrie. So Kyrie and Koonye are the opposite. Koonye is a sellout public. Kyrie, okay, so I thought maybe Kyrie actually said something too. All he did was like or retweet documentary about the Black Hebrews. That's all. So it's supposed to be racist against white Jews, white Israelis, Zionites. It's supposed to be racist against the Jews if somebody says that they like a documentary about Black Hebrews. So basically, they're trying to say all Hebrew Israelites, they're racist against Jews. They're saying they're Hebrew Israelites. So that like all that did, them overreacting so much just because Kyrie retweeted or he liked the documentary, that just made the Hebrew Israelites like 500 times stronger. That just made Kyrie Irving like the main leader I see, the main black leader I see, that I would call a leader, besides like Michael Eric Dyson, and I can't really think of nobody else right now besides him and Michael Eric Dyson. But so with it, that documentary that the NBA Jew Illuminati hated on so much and made such a big deal out of, and that they suspended him, that documentary probably got millions of hits now. And now that they brought it to the world's attention, there's probably 500,000 white people and Jews watching it saying, dang, what if they're right? What if they are black Hebrews? What if they are the real Jews? So all they did was fuck themselves up with that. And I think he might retire. I've seen that a couple times, and he might retire. So I'm gonna let him speak some more. I want to say one more thing about Jews calling other people anti-Semitic. So Jews actually used slavery to start the stock market, because as the fucking slave owners, they started making the actual captains of the slave ships write IOUs on a piece of paper, because they were throwing so many African slaves overboard to the sharks in the Middle Passage that they actually made them write IOU, I'm going to bring you back this body alive that you paid me for. And those IOU papers, those are the beginning of the stock market. So no matter what anybody even says about them, and most of the time nobody's even saying anything racist or even negative or derogatory about them, just that their Hebrew Israelites exist or anything, the shit they've done to us is 20 million times worse no matter what. No matter what ever happens from now on. And that's just one example. There's numerous examples of them being part of our entire planned white supremacy genocide when they're trying to wipe us out.
Yeah. So I had to start the video over, but you can see both halves on Khmet Ephod Spiritual Cultivation System channel. And yeah, the Jews, I don't got really nothing against the Jews. It's just their ways, you know. They started out from the Khazarian Empire, came down, masked their identity, just like some of them could dye their hair or whatever and be perceived as white, or act the other kind of race, and just blend into the money-making schemes. And in 1945, in Israel, that's where they brought up the state. They made up the state Israel in 1945. And they're in leagues with the Vatican, you know, the Catholics, all this religious sects, and yeah, it's just a major thing going on, and that's how they're controlling the world, because everybody believing in that Bible that even Kanye West is trying to push. Or Kyrie, he saying either he's a Hebrew Israelite. That Bible has been, you know, religion started from conquerors. Conquerors needed something to control the people, so that's what happened. And yeah,
in 1945, the land that the Israelis that are there right now actually got, that was actually part of Palestine and Lebanon and Syria, and Death Trap America went there and carved out part of those three countries and said, here, this is you guys. You can't give somebody else's land. So their entire existence over there is illegal in the first place. They shouldn't even be there. And the reason they keep committing genocide and all the darker surrounding races, the Lebanese and Palestinians, because they have the water and they're running out of water and they want their resources. They're trying to murder them slowly, murder them all, and move them further and further back to take their resources and make up excuses, American excuses, like they're terrorists. You can call anybody a terrorist as a reason to just try to murder them or wipe them out. Call them a terrorist. You can do that about anybody.
Yeah, and back to that Bible thing again. The first Bible was made in Alexandria, Egypt, the Septuagint. And how ironic, when they made that state Israel in 1945, they found that had modern books for the Gnostic texts of the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Philip, Gospel of Mary. In 1945, at the same time, they released that information. for the Gnostic text with Jesus in there that's no holds barred, that was a hold back, said some real different kind of things in the Jesus in the King James Bible. And Kyrie, he shouldn't have to apologize so many times. I mean, go to these classes and
They'll never apologize to them motherfuckers.
You got to take classes and just to get back into the NBA and see rabbis.
Take classes.
And we said before that's never happened to white people that done us dirty before, like the cops that be beating our ass, beating black people up. All let them take classes or angry management or anything like that to get back in good graces with my people. Or has anybody told white folks to take classes or any demographic take classes that said nappy-headed hoes to the black basketball team that used to play like maybe 7 years ago, 10 years